Hello everyone, and welcome back to Mudlick Creek Garage. Behind me is my 1962 Barry Mini T. Now, if you don't know what this is a kit car, and it's got a Volkswagen rear transmission axle assembly and a Volkswagen engine. This machine has been sitting since 2018 in a garage with a car cover over it. We're gonna see if we can get this thing running and back on the roads. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna see if this thing even spins over after it's sitting. I think it will. What do you guys think? Yep. Yep. Without a hitch. Let's see if there's any oil in it now. Yeah, a little low, very bottom of the stick. We'll just top her off and let's get a battery put in this old girl. I know it's not the correct group size, but it's what I have laying around. Just slide that on there. Don't worry, I won't use a hammer. There. Find a bolt to chuck in that. So I have the battery all hooked up and car's in neutral. Let's see if we have anything going on here. Key on, nothing yet. Let's try to crank. Oh, there it is. We got something going on now. Well, it cranks. Let's get you guys to the back and we'll see if this thing fires. As you've seen there, apparently she's not gonna go easy. So let's pull a plug out and we will check for spark. Actually, before we check for spark, we're gonna throw a little bit of gasoline down the carb and see if that'll bring her to life. Let's get this air cleaner off. Stuck up here under the body. Oh, well, I guess that's on there real good. Oh, at least it's tethered so it won't ever fall off. All right, sneak this bottle up here and drop a tickle down her throat there. See if she'll fire. That sounded great. So I should assume we have spark and it's just not getting fuel. I figured it'd probably be wise to take a look and see if there's anything showing in the fuel filter, and there is. And I think 5 years of the local self-serve station's lowest grade fuel has turned this into essentially min-wax. So let's drain all this nasty gas into a gas can and we will fill her up with some fresh gas. So we're draining the gas out of this thing, and as you can see, it's essentially min-wax. So it ain't gonna run very good on this. So I drained all the nasty gas out and I figured it'd be advantageous to take a look at the plugs. So this is the driver's side front plug. It's a little wet, so this one's been getting fuel, but it looks all right. And the rest of them look essentially like the driver's side rear plug. It's got a little bit of fuel. It seems to be burning all right. So this engine was running half decent when it was stored. Let's actually check for spark, because that might just be a goofy starter issue. You all let me know if you see spark. So the definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing you just did, expecting a different result, but it has spark, so I threw a little bit of gas down the carb. Let's see if it lights. Wants to go. I gotta figure out what's going on with that starter. Let's get it off and take a look. So I'm glad we stopped there when we did, because you can actually see on this starter, everything looks, I mean, you can see the teeth are starting to be eaten up right there. You can see the glitter around that. It's not great. So I think we caught it in time though. The teeth don't look terrible, and the flywheel, you know, from what I can feel, spinning the engine over and feeling it with my fingers, it doesn't feel torn up. I mean, it doesn't feel amazing like brand new, but I don't think we're in that bad a shape. All right, everyone. So it's a couple days later. Parts have showed up, and as you can see, this job is slowly escalated a little bit deeper than I expected to get into it. It should have just been, will it run? And it ran when parked. So the issue I found is the timing was out. Now, if you can see down in there, Volkswagen uses what's called a distributor drive shaft, and that was actually 90 degrees out of phase. It was actually pointing towards the back of the engine, which it's not supposed to do. It's supposed to run perpendicular with the case split here. So I went through, I got that retimed. So now let's throw this all together, set the timing, and now we'll see if it runs. That would explain our starter grinding issue. Quick tech tip on how to get your distributor drive shaft out of your Volkswagen. So if you're like me and decide you want to do this on a Friday and don't have the correct tools, and you order them, and then you decide you're impatient and don't want to wait for them, you can use a pencil. So as you can see, the pencil is actually pressed in a little bit there. That's because I cut it off flush and tapped it into the distributor drive shaft. Then you heat up the block, and then you can actually pull it up with the press fit of the pencil. So it takes a little bit of finagling, and it's not super easy, but definitely doable in a pinch. Fuel pump reinstalled. Now time to set our distributor in. We're going to make sure our notches on the bottom stay in alignment with the fuel or the distributor drive shaft, and we're going to make sure our little our rotor's pointed towards us. And we also got to line up on the back side here. When it finds its home, it should slide right in. Like so. There we are. Let's get this thing all timed in and we'll be good to go. So I have the machine retimed and where it should be, theoretically. Let's see if this thing will start. Fire in the hole. I'll make sure it's going to go. Maybe try throwing a little fuel down the carb. Take two, put a little fuel down the carb, shot it a couple times to see what it'll do. You wanted it, let's try again. Let's make sure it's getting spark now that I had the distributor all apart. Maybe it's not getting spark now. Alright, so I got the 0.3 set, everything all cleaned up in there. It all seems to work now. Let's see if it'll fire. way too much. All right, everyone. So as you can see, the engine is now reassembled, and this machine had some pretty serious timing issues. Let me explain to you what I did, so that way it may be able to help you guys if you're trying to get one of these buggies or air-cooled Volkswagen engines running. All right, so in front of us, we have a Hayes manual for a Volkswagen or a Gia bus, just the standard air-cooled manual. So the issue with my machine was the distributor drive shaft was actually 90 degrees out of phase. So as you can see the slit on the top here, that slit's supposed to run perpendicular to the split in the engine here. You can see the bolt where that's the casing split. Well, at top dead center, mine ran parallel, not perpendicular. So therefore, timing was always 90 degrees out, and the original VW distributor wouldn't fit. Hence why somebody has one of these electric deals that the internet tells you to just throw in the trash. But it doesn't stop there. So I fixed the timing, had it all timed in using the correct VW distributor, so it should run perfect. And then my cap and rotor was busted, so that didn't work. Buy a new one of those. Haven't got it yet, so for the sake of this video, we stuck the cheap distributor in. Then learned that the cheap distributors are 90 degrees out of time compared to the Volkswagen distributor. So I set the timing based on the Hayes manual, and it wouldn't run. It was 180 degrees out, it'd spit, sputter, wouldn't take. So then, just digging through online, I just decided to rotate the distributor body 180 away from the timing mark, that being said. So it's all kinds of screwy. So we're gonna see here together if it runs with this distributor being 180 out to Volkswagen spec, but what everybody says online, it's correct. Let's see if this thing will fire up. Sounds like we do still have issues with the flywheel clutch assembly, and looks like some squirrel decided to make a home in the exhaust pipe on the one side, but she runs. So there you have it, guys. Been sitting for about 5 years in a garage. Machine, it didn't fire right up. We had to do some timing work, cleaned all the connections, starter, whole nine. Didn't really clean the carb, but I swapped all the fuel out. She fired right up and went. So I'm gonna get this engine pulled out, fix the clutch. We're gonna put her on the road and enjoy her for the summer. Thanks for watching Mudlet Creek Garage.